Hi, this is Carl Polachek, and this is another SOP video for managed service providers. Today, we're going to talk about travel. The basic rule of travel is keep it simple. The IRS, or whatever your governing body is, has some rules about when you can take things and what's appropriate for work and so forth. If you can find those guidelines, print them out and use that as a general guideline for your company. Generally speaking, travel falls into two very simple categories. One is in town and the other is out of town. So today we're going to only talk about really the out of town. So with out of town travel, you might have a day trip. Let's say you're going to go an hour and a half to the next city and then you're going to work some there and then come back. So what's covered? Again, I think that that's fairly straightforward. For the most part, you're going to pay for mileage, you're going to pay for meals, and if they're using some kind of public transportation, you're going to pay for bus fare or train fare or whatever it might be. So that's fairly straightforward. The only thing you need to think about is that for certain kinds of things, there are rules about when the mileage starts. So for example, if you're doing something in town, the first trip from your house to the train station or to a client's office is going to be your commute. So you don't get reimbursed for that. If you're going out of town, for whatever reason, you don't take off 5 miles, you just get from your house to wherever you're going out of town. So that's kind of just a rule you need to be aware of. And in general, that's how the government is going to calculate mileage. I recommend that you adopt the same policy for your company. Just makes your life that much easier. So the only area that might be a little complicated is out of town travel overnight. So let's say you're sending folks to a conference, or they've got to spend the night in another city because a client needs them, or whatever it might be. In that case, you have to figure out, okay, so how are you going to travel? Who has to approve it? And then what kind of reimbursements are allowed? For the most part, it seems very straightforward. Again, keep it simple. Use what makes sense. If you have airfare, usually that's going to be covered by the company directly. Perhaps you'll do a reimbursement. Car rental, you have to decide whether that's appropriate versus taking Uber or a taxi or something, and what kind of car is okay, what sort of insurance they need to have on that. Hotel, if it's going to be overnight, again, what is the norm? We've always worked on the premise that you're going to let somebody have a comfortable day of travel, but not a luxurious day of travel. So the airfare is going to be a regular coach seat. If you want to upgrade to extended leg room or first class, you pay for that yourself. The hotel is going to be a moderate Comfort Inn or Residence Inn by Marriott, something like that. Just a run-of-the-mill hotel, not something super fancy. If you want the upgrade, you can go ahead and pay for that yourself. The car rental is going to be an average mid-size or smaller car. If you want something more luxurious, you're going to pay for that yourself. Now, car rental, I will say, we do cover all the insurance because we want to be able to just have the technician walk away from a problem and have no additional expenses. So yes, it's a complete ripoff, but we're willing to put up with that. And we never ask technicians to worry about the points or whatever. If they've got a rewards program, they can have the hotel and the airfare and the car rental. They can have all those points. It's not enough for us to worry about. So whatever policies you have for your travel policies, you should just tick through them. In town, here's our policy. Out of town, here's our policy. Overnight, here's our policy. And just go through those variables. It doesn't really matter what you decide to do. Just do it consistently. And remember, fairness should always be your guide. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Polachek, wishing you all the luck in your managed service business.